Hi, I'm Loren Blackford. I was the president of the Sierra Club Board of Directors for 3 years, and during that time, we launched a big structural assessment to look at the whole structure of the organization. So Crystal came in to work with the Sierra Club, and we're of course a very big, old, complex organization. Even a lot of people who have worked or volunteered there for many years know their part of the organization very well and can be a bit fuzzy on the rest of it. So Crystal really learned quickly and could listen to people from different parts of the organization and incorporate that knowledge and reflect back. And so she got up to speed very quickly and kind of wasn't cowed by that complexity, all those different layers, all the different kind of organizational complexity, I guess is the best word for it. Crystal was super helpful in working through this. This was a project where we really needed to engage stakeholders throughout the organization, and we really needed to go beyond just sort of the regular power structures and make sure that we were getting voices and including people throughout the organization, being really consultative. So she was really helpful in thinking about how to go across the normal sort of power structures. And also we were really concerned about having a particular focus on equity, and particularly doing this work in 2020 when there was so much going on. People were grappling with the pandemic, people were grappling with the devastating racial equity issues, and really think that added a whole new level to what we were thinking about. And Crystal was really helpful in helping us adapt to that and really incorporating more of a focus on equity and justice and inclusion into the work as we went, particularly during this really intense past year. So I would say that Crystal is particularly good at finding balance and just being really warm and connecting very well, and really thinking about different stakeholders, thinking about what change really means to different people. So really helping us think more deeply about change management processes. We've done big organizational changes in the past and had some struggles in the past about then moving into the implementation phase and really thinking about who's going to be affected, how, who's going to want to participate, who's going to resist participating, and how to plan ahead for that work. Crystal helped us start thinking about implementation in this project early on in the process, so that we formed a team that would started preparing for implementation even before the recommendations were completed, so that we could really be intentional in thinking about how do we select the people who oversee implementation? What kind of charge do we give them? What kind of support do we give them? What kind of resources? And not just leave that to the last moment. So I would say, in my mind, Crystal's great strength is really her empathy and her inclusiveness and her warmth, and people really enjoyed working with her. She really brought people into the project. Well, one thing that was surprising working with Crystal was what a pleasure it was to work with her. I mean, it really felt it was like working with a friend. It was, I looked forward to our regular convenings. That was a little surprising. I mean, it was really a more almost collegial interaction than often you have just working with a consultant. Having Crystal help us with the project added a really important neutrality, an outside stakeholder who could sort of step back and see the organization, the structures with fresh eyes. In this project, there was a lot of fear, and there was a lot of distrust. There were people who felt disempowered. It was interesting in that people in many different parts of the organization feared that they would lose power. And then the groups they thought they might lose power to felt that they would lose power. And having Crystal there thinking about what would those perspectives be, and being able to provide context with other projects, with other change management, but also be an outside party that wasn't a stakeholder in any of the different relationships was really valuable. So, any organization, particularly a big nonprofit, you really think carefully about using consultants. It's a cost, and so it's an extra investment. And so we try and be intentional about when we use consultants and when we don't. But this was a project, a place where it was really crucial having a neutral outside party. And Crystal really fulfilled that role, that need, very effectively, both with her knowledge of change management, her knowledge of organizational practices, her being able to bring in experience from other organizations, but also just being an outside observer that didn't have a horse in this race, could really speak candidly. And I appreciated how both kind and direct she could be, and being able to sort of balance and understand those different perspectives without her own bias coming into it. So this was a place where it really was very helpful having a consultant, both for the knowledge base. Well, I'd say not just both, three things, both the knowledge base and the expertise and the outside perspective, and then just that neutrality and that commitment to engagement. I guess in conclusion, I would just say I really strongly recommend Crystal. I think she is a great asset to any organization. I think she's particularly strong in engagement. This is a time that every organization needs to be rethinking what they do and how they do it with an equity lens. And I think she's really sensitive about how she does that. And so I think she has a lot to offer and highly recommend her.